2009 in Iran, an election year, and millions were heading to the polls hoping for a better future. This is how it turned out.
There was a euphoric atmosphere. People, after 30 years of the Islamic Republic, thought that a change can happen, reform can happen. But unfortunately, after the elections, all that dream was shattered. Bad things happened.
Iranian-Canadian journalist Maziar Bahari was in Tehran covering the election for Newsweek. Thousands had taken to the streets to protest what they claimed was a fix. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad had won a second term as president. Such open defiance was posing the biggest threat to the regime in 30 years, especially when the supreme leader took sides with Ahmadinejad, disputing any possibility that the vote was rigged.
The regime mishandled the situation. Not only mishandled the situation and threatened the future of Iran, but the future of itself as well.
And Bahari's own future was now in jeopardy too, as the regime moved to crack down on the opposition. In what was a bizarre scenario, the Revolutionary Guards came to arrest him at his mother's house.
My mother offered them some tea, and they didn't take tea. And I asked them later on, were you afraid of being poisoned? And they said, no, we just didn't want to impose on your mother.
Bahari spent the next 118 days at Tehran's notorious Evin prison. He says he was beaten, tortured and humiliated. He was put on trial along with dozens of others. While dreadful, he says the experience at least gave him a rare insight to the workings of the Islamic Republic.
I can see that the regime is becoming more paranoid every day. Part of the paranoia is self-made. The Iranian government, it keeps on creating enemies for itself. And as a result, they are becoming more isolated and more paranoid. And that really worries me about Iran becoming a nuclear power, because there is nothing worse than a paranoid nuclear Iran.
Covering the story became increasingly difficult in Iran as the government imposed restrictions on international journalists. Social networking sites stepped into the void. Mobile phone images were beamed around the world, and millions watched as a young woman died in front of their very eyes. Neda became the face of the opposition movement in Iran.
It was on the 20th of June.
What did you have time to really think about that? And
not much. No, I just saw the video, and then the next morning I was arrested. Neda has become a symbol of the Iranian opposition. Neda was not a political person. She is a face that everyone can monopolize. Everyone can say that Neda belongs to us. And that is the problem with the Iranian opposition. They need a stronger symbol.
Bahari himself became a symbol. While he was incarcerated, an international campaign was launched to get him free, and he was released just days before the birth of his daughter. When you look back on the year you've had personally, are you a changed man? Do you live your life differently now as a result? Do you look at life differently?
Yeah, I think I'm a better person as a result of my imprisonment. I managed to endure the 118 days of imprisonment by only having positive thoughts, because I knew that if I have any negative thoughts, I would be hurting myself.
It remains to be seen how his fellow Iranians will feel in the year ahead. Don Riddell, CNN, London.